Hey all, we have just saw Dune, Denis Villeneuve's new film. He's also directed Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, Prisoners, and some other ones. And
That's right. Those were great films, by the way.
yeah, we like them all. They're all great. And so we just saw his new one, which came out in Taiwan, here in Taiwan on September 16th. And interestingly enough, the Mandarin name for Dune is Sajio.
Shachio,
Oh, Sajio, which is
which means Dune.
which basically means sand dune, literally. So, yeah, I heard in Japan they call it Sand Planet.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Wow.
Yeah, and the name's fitting. But anyways, so we just came out of the film, so we are now giving our thoughts. Great. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
What does the non-book reader think?
Oh, yeah, let's, to be clear, he's read the book.
Books,
Books.
essentially, yeah.
So he's read the books, and I haven't. So, from my perspective, I thought it was a very solid film. I think if you're really into science fiction, you probably enjoy this film. So, I thought it was really beautiful. Well, the trailer looked really promising in that regard. So the graphics was really great. I love the
visuals were great.
design.
Yeah.
Yeah, the visuals were great. I love the designs of not only the outfits but the ships and
The ships, the palaces, all the buildings.
the cities. I actually thought it made so much sense that their city was built to protect against like creatures in the sand desert.
Yeah, the sand one, basically.
Yeah, which appeared in the trailer, so I don't think that's a spoiler. So what did you think of it?
I thought it was really good. From a book reader perspective, I thought they captured the spirit of the book well. We'll talk about the pros and cons later. And I thought it managed to convey Dune, in a, I don't want to say simplified, but how else can you describe it? Because the book is just books are always better. Books
Yeah.
are always better than the movie adaptation. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's Lord of the
Harry
Rings
Potter,
or Harry Potter. Or,
Game of
the
Thrones.
book always has more detail, and Dune is no exception to this because the adaptation issues is that there's a lot of characters in the book thinking a lot, and there's no way to convey this properly in a movie unless you have them doing other stuff. So in the movie sense, they came up with a great way to explain exposition. Stuff like, say, their equivalent of YouTube in the year 10,000 or whatever. And other characters describing something else. That's exposition.
Oh yeah, it's
So-
one character discussing something with the
Yeah.
other character.
Yeah, that's exposition.
Yeah.
I think the biggest failing of the film,
Is this a spoiler?
this is not a spoiler.
Okay.
The biggest failing in the film is that it feels like it's half a film. It definitely feels incomplete. We need a part 2 for sure, because the film clearly states Dune, part 1.
It's funny because I went to the movie today.
Expecting it to be just part 1, just the
no,
whole
just
thing.
a whole complete thing. It was before we got into the theater that you told me, oh, they're splitting into 2 parts. I was like, what? Why are we here? I would like to watch things completed.
In fact, now that I've seen it, I feel like they could have done a trilogy easily. There's so much detail in Dune. You could go for hours with every single scene. But yeah. So they started the film blatantly telling you it was part 1. So
Yeah.
the film kind of feels incomplete in that regard, where if there's never a part 2, then it's gonna make this movie feel hollow. So there better be a fucking part 2. So Warner Brothers, you better finance that movie, otherwise I'm gonna be really upset with you. Really, really upset. All right, so now we're gonna go into the strictly spoiler part of the film, which we can talk about. We'll talk about everything, just mark down from here on. Why don't you go first? You have any?
Well, I thought the beginning, for some reason, as I told you earlier, it reminded me of The Fifth Element. I don't know
She's
why.
never read the book, so just to be clear.
Yeah, well, just to be clear again, I've never read a book, so this is all from I don't even know anything about
Was it the giant
plot.
spaceships that gave that idea?
The giant spaceships, the sandy environment, and them going into an alien place, because that's what happens at the beginning of Fifth Element. That's why I should have said, like, the beginning of the movie reminded me of the beginning of Fifth Element.
Wasn't that in Egypt? I don't remember.
I don't remember. I forgot. The Baron's people all bald reminded me of Dark City, of the villains in Dark City. I don't know if this is where Dark City got their inspiration from. Were they bald in the books?
I don't remember specific descriptions of them. All I know is they were a bunch of assholes.
You mean the Baron's men?
The Baron's men, especially the.
Speaking of the Baron, I loved his very strange design of being so fat that he has to float in the air.
Yeah, what was his name? Stellan Skarsgård? Yeah, you could tell he was enjoying the fuck out of his role. He was hamming it up so hard.
It was great.
It was so great. Though from a book perspective, I feel like I made him a little too evil because the books conveyed that he was a political, a smart ass in his own right. But the movie doesn't really convey this properly. Plus, they leave out the relationship with him and his second in command. His second in command you barely see, and spoilers, he dies.
You mean the actor who appears in everywhere nowadays?
Yeah. Whatever his name is.
So he was a prominent figure in the books.
He was more prominent in the book than in the movie. But he died at the exact moment as in the movie.
Oh.
So.
I thought he got a lot of screen time.
Yeah, but in the book he was
surprised.
bantering with the Baron and all that, so you don't see this.
Actually, I barely saw their interaction, so yeah.
Yeah, he barely interacted. There was probably more interaction with the nephew, Rabin. I think that was his name.
Oh, speaking of their world and creatures, what happened to that pet spider?
That spider scene confused me too because I don't remember that at all in any book.
It only occurred to me when
it might be
like, what happened to that spider?
It might be an implication that they're genetic testing. They're so fucked up that they will turn someone into like a genetic mutation because the Harkonnens are that fucked up. So,
that's what they're called, the Harkins.
The Harkonnens.
If I make any mistakes, I have to apologize because the audio in the theater was a little strange, and I had to rely on the Chinese subtitles sometimes.
Yeah, that is a complaint from us. The sound mixing was just bad in some cases. Some scenes in the soundtrack would be so fucking loud, and then there's also a shit ton going on in that same scene, and then they're talking, but the sound wasn't mixed properly, so you couldn't hear their dialogue properly. So we had to read subtitles just to figure out what the hell they were saying in some cases, which is not a good sign of good sound mixing. Nolan's movies have that issue, especially in Tenet.
I did that with Tenet. I
kept looking
at the subtitles.
Yeah. At least for Dune, I knew the plot. So even if I had no idea what they were saying, I knew what was happening.
Yeah.
Overall plot. But my sister might not know because she's never read the book. So.
But the good thing about the movie is that I, as a non-book reader, I completely understood what was going on.
Okay.
And why they were there. So.
Yeah, this is our format review. We're just all over the place talking about the movie.
Yeah, it's fun, man.
Yeah.
Hope you're enjoying this so far.
Acting-wise, everyone was fantastic. Timothy Chalamet. He was. I think he did a great job with Paul with what he had. Great. Rebecca Ferguson though was my favorite. She's easily MVP. She destroyed the role of Jessica massively. She did such a phenomenal job in my opinion. And
yeah. All the actors were great. I have no complaints about the actors at all.
They did great with the material they had. Like that's all you could hope for. Josh Brolin feels a little underused because he doesn't really show up that much.
I hope he'll appear more in part 2 because his character.
Okay, it's kind of spoilers for the book part, but in the movie he just runs off. There's a movie saying, okay, the Harkonnens are attacking with the Emperor's private army, and then he just runs off to attack with the rest of the Atreides army, and then that's it. That's the last scene you see of him.
I don't think he dies.
In case I didn't spoil that, but yeah, in the book he wasn't there. He was he got rescued by there was a smuggler subplot that the movie doesn't cover at all. And I don't know if part 2 will cover that. So I'm curious to see what they do with Josh Brolin there. Jason Momoa was good. I feel like he did a good job of Duncan. Conveys his playfulness and his willingness to sacrifice himself for, his Duke. Like whichever Duke you that was great.
That's what I said I wanted to say earlier is that this movie... we've been watching a lot of Marvel films these last couple of years, so you always expect a joke. But this film, it was all pretty, not much humor, no happiness, and Paul,
no happiness.
Paul barely smiles until he sees Jason Momoa's character, Duncan.
Yeah, Duncan.
Yeah. You can really tell he really loved him.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, the movie didn't really go much for that way of jokes. In fact, the trailer, I'm pretty sure, showed all the humor there was in the whole
Really?
movie.
I can't remember any.
Yeah, basically. I think that was all the humor. The rest of the movie is very serious. What else did we like in the film?
I thought Jessica's clan. What were their names?
The Bene Gesserit. What I don't know. I'm butchering the names here, but yeah, the secret special school of badass ladies who can control using the voice. In the books.
Oh, she was so awesome, that scene when they were captured and she started commanding the guy. That was so awesome.
Yeah, that scene was very well done. It was basically like I expected from the book.
Oh, it was the same thing, huh?
There are some subtle differences though. In the book, so in the book they use their expressions, very micro expressions, but there's no way to show this in the film. You can only write it in a book. So in the film they use your fingers instead as a sign of their the signs that the signs are using. At first I was confused and I was like, oh shit, this is their equivalent of the expressions. Okay, yeah. That's how they signaled. Because
it's hard to like use a facial expressions, I guess.
I guess the only way to do that is maybe increase the iris size or whatever. I don't know how to translate that. But they did a great job conveying what the voice was like. And
I thought the line earlier, as I told him, that when the Reverend Mother, she said you should have had daughters. I thought that was a little progressive. I mean, you've heard so many.
Maybe not in that universe.
Yeah, maybe not. But I thought it was interesting.
Yeah,
because you never hear like you should have had daughters. It's always you should have had sons who would carry my name. but here it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. But I guess it's a no boys allowed.
They have an agenda. They have a definite agenda.
Yeah, and Paul looks so sad when he realized that.
Yeah, he's just a pawn. Yeah. In that case, some cases.
I don't blame him for being upset.
We have a list.
That's right. That's like my presentation. The Chinese. There was a bit of spoken Chinese in the film.
Yeah, that surprised me because I didn't remember that in the book. But his Timothy's. I'm using his first name.
I guess that's fine.
What's his last name? How do you pronounce
Chalamet.
it? Okay, Chalamet's Mandarin accent for that brief tiny scene was so good enough. It was actually pretty good.
That was so good.
But he probably trained that line over and over.
Yeah.
But yeah, as spoilers, for those who never read the book, the doctor betrays them, and his actor did a good job, I think, of conveying that he was desperate for his wife back.
So it did happen in the books?
Yeah, it happened in the books, exactly like that. And he gave him the fake tooth so he could crack on it and kill the Baron. Because he hated the Baron, too. He absolutely despised the Baron because he had his wife. But he wanted his wife back. So the only way to do that was to bring him the Duke. And he knew the Duke would die. But he knew the Duke would be happy to kill the Baron.
I wonder if he knew he was going to die.
The Duke?
The doctor, Dr. Yue.
He gambled on it. Like, he thought he might die. But he wanted a chance at his wife. So,
I couldn't really blame him either.
Yeah. So it was like a no-win situation for him.
Yeah.
But he gave the Duke a weapon. That's why the Duke was trying to taunt him to get closer. But unfortunately, he turned on his shield. That's why he survived. Everyone else didn't have their shields on, which fucked them.
Yeah. No wonder they showed
he turned it on.
Him turning it on.
Yeah. The Baron obviously knew something was a little off, so as a precaution, he turned it on. Fucking sneaky bastard.
The Baron kind of reminded me of Snoke from Star Wars, The Last Jedi. I'm wondering if Snoke was inspired by Dune and the Emperor. Like, he's probably like a combination of all these characters, because you said that Star Wars and a lot of sci-fi movies were inspired by Dune.
A lot of elements have come from Dune. The giant sandworm, we've seen that in God knows how many movies. Let's see, Evil Trader Corporation that holds spice. Desert Planet, definitely directly referenced in Star Wars a lot.
Also, Hans Zimmer's music.
Hans Zimmer's music was really good. It
was so haunting.
Very, very haunting with the use of female vocals. But I feel like it was a little repetitive in some cases. And you could tell Hans Zimmer is a little... He loves that whole... I'm going to soundtrack every single goddamn scene as one part of one long scene. So every single movie scene...
That's what I told him after we came out, was that it felt like... The movie felt like one long take. Yeah. That was my... Not issue, but... That's how I felt about Dunkirk too. It felt like one long take.
With the soundtrack?
Yeah, because there was no time to breathe.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So for a movie that's 2.5 hours, I felt like there wasn't enough. ironically, which might be a good thing in a way. Like there could have been
very
more.
invested in the film. Then the sandworms are really cool.
The sandworm scene.
That was really cool.
They nailed all the scenes, I guess, as far as I can tell, with sandworms. The scene where he comes out and takes down the spice machine.
Yeah.
That was such a awesome
disturbing
scene, and it shows how indifferent the sandworm is to human existence. Like whatever, man. Yeah, it shows. Sandworms are basically the ocean. The desert's an ocean, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
At the end, when the sandworm was looking down at Paul, and then he got away, and the sand moves like waves.
Yeah.
I thought that might
that was
be
on
the
purpose.
ocean.
That was totally on
so
purpose.
Cool.
It shows how much the desert is basically just ocean to these sandworms.
Wow.
They nailed the visual. The visuals are so fucking good.
Yeah.
Everything from giant spaceships
Good job,
to
artists.
massive amounts of soldiers, and the ceremonies are really cool. The architecture design of everything was really interesting because it felt like everything was almost Soviet, where how everything was just empty and brutal and sterile, in a way.
The desert was like its own character.
Yeah, the desert was more of a character than the cities, ironically.
Yeah, exactly.
The palace had like what, one chair? I can't remember.
Yeah, that's
They had
right.
a meeting room, right?
They don't...
And then the meeting table had nothing on it. I was like, not even a map or anything. Just some chairs around that table. I mean, that could indicate that the Atreides army just moved in, and everything was chaotic.
Actually, now I kind of wish we had seen more of that city.
Yeah,
that was a
enough.
city, right?
That was a city.
We only just saw the building, and that was it.
Yeah, there was.
What was life like underneath?
The pacing there was a little weird because they just got there and established control, and then suddenly the Harkonnens attacked. In the book, it wasn't that quickly. There was a little time to breathe before that happened.
Yeah,
So,
either I didn't catch. How did they start just attacking them again?
Because Dr. Yule turned off the shields.
Oh yeah,
he said
that's
it.
right.
Yeah, he turned off the
right.
shield, so they were able to get in, and then they sent in the army, and they might have taken on the Harkonnens, but the problem is they brought along the Emperor's private army.
Ah.
Yeah. Now the movie kind of brings up the politics, as you heard. The Emperor is afraid that the other great royal houses, would be scared if he brought out his private army. That's why he told the Baron not to speak of this. Like he didn't want the Baron to spread gossip that the Emperor's army was helping him out take out a hated rival. So, but the movie doesn't really talk about this too much. There isn't a lot of. I wish there was more politics. I could always use more politics in a movie like this. I love it.
Yeah, politics are always.
It's a little too
interesting.
simplified for my taste.
Hmm.
Yeah. We never even saw the Emperor. All you hear is about his name. That's it.
Yeah, I got a little confused there. But we'll probably see the Emperor in the next movie.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see who plays him. That'd be
They'll
great.
probably get another famous actor. Did you also mention once a long time ago that the Chosen One came from this book?
Yeah, a lot of cliches came from this, tropes, as you can see. The
Yeah.
Chosen One, a white messiah, will come and save the tribes. So, but in this case, the movie makes it feel like it's almost dangerous, kind of like the book. Like
Yeah.
he's the messiah, but
But he
that
could.
doesn't mean everything's good, because he could launch a holy war that could take out the whole universe.
That's
The
almost-
movie shows that.
It's almost like Star Wars in this regard. Then it's like like Anakin or Luke is the chosen one, but they have the dark side to worry about. Like they could,
He could lose control of it. And,
succumb to the dark side,
well, in this case, he's not succumbing to the dark side. He's succumbing.
to the power.
Yeah. I don't know if the movie was emphasizing this, but no, the movie was emphasizing this. He showed that he was like bleeding, right? And he was afraid that if he dies for the Freeman would take up him as a martyr and conquer the whole universe. That's what he was afraid of too. At least in the books. I don't know if the movie definitely showed him bleeding at one point, and then showed the scene of his men conquering.
Oh yeah, he had so many visions.
He had a ton of visions. And the movie emphasizes that he has a lot of visions, just to be clear, in case he isn't slightly insane.
Is he the only one who got visions? Like, are there other people in that world who get visions, or is it just him? Or this is a spoiler
No comment.
question.
I literally
okay.
can't comment on this.
Okay, then that's fine. I was worried I missed something from the film. Like I said, the audio and, it's just hard to take in everything in 2.5 hours.
The changes from the book, I guess I'll bring that up. So
Yeah, go ahead. Do you have any complaints you'd like to share or any
I think the Emperor's...
surprises?
So at the beginning of the film, the Emperor's messenger boy arrives and is like, "Here, have this planet. Okay, go." But in the book, that never happened. The book started at him in his bedroom, and he gets summoned to meet the Reverend Mother.
Ah.
Yeah, that whole scene never happened. But they had to use the very beginning where Chani was narrating. Zendaya is Zendaya's character, and she's narrating how like the planet and the spice and all that. So they kind of narrate. They put some exposition at the front to tell the audiences what was going on. But the messenger guy, I'm not really sure if that scene really
needed it.
I don't know if it was needed, because
We never saw that guy again.
the Duke is like, all right, we accept. House of Atreides accepts the planet. But why don't they just do that scene on the planet itself? Because then they would copy the book. In the book, he's like...
they did it on the planet?
They did it on the planet where he's, I will wipe away all bras and corruption and all that. He said that in a ceremony. But in the movie, he just arrives and that's it. Like, they just take over the buildings. There's no grand ceremony or whatever. Just people on the sides watching and calling out to Paul. So,
wait, you mean that's the ceremony, when they arrive at the planet, or when the guy presents him that
the guy that
paper?
presents him is the ceremony.
Oh.
But I think they could have done that scene on the planet itself. I think that would make more sense.
I'm wondering if this is just a way for the audience to be like presented with the fact like, oh, okay, they got a new planet, but then the main character goes to meet the Reverend Mother, and then we find out, oh, there's something ominous going on. So I guess it's just more of a formula thing instead of...
It could be.
Yeah.
I think that's their way of expositioning to the audience, because that was the only way to tell the audience, hey, this is happening. Because, again, Dune relies a lot on internal thinking, on what the characters are thinking. And it's not exactly a straightforward process to translate this to a movie.
Yeah.
So, some other changes, some minor ones and some big ones I can definitely go into. One that was barely brought up was the Duke tells Jessica, I should have married you. And that's it. That's the only hint of that subplot that was in the book. That was that. I was like, ugh, I wish they brought up more.
I had no clue they were not married until he said, I was like, what? They weren't married?
Yeah, if you were a new person watching that, you'd be like, huh? But
they called her a concubine when they kidnapped them.
Yeah, so in the book, the Duke never marries her because he wants to tease other houses into marrying him. That way he had to gain more power. But he always tells her that I should have just married you. He kept on. So the last thing he says to her, he tells Paul to tell her. No, this isn't a dick. I'm saying politics. It horribly, but yeah,
it's a political thing.
Yeah, and he tells Paul to tell Jessica that he never distrusted her and he always trusted her as a.
Wow.
And he would have taken him gladly, as the husband and wife, basically.
Then how does
Then he tells her that in the tent, but we don't see this in the movie.
They don't talk about that often. They don't show a lot of scenes between them. Yeah.
There wasn't... I feel like there's some extended stuff that they could add in, maybe from an extended cut. I don't know how many deleted scenes there are, because I think that would nicely flesh out some of the pacing issues. And they did gender change the Emperor's voice, but that didn't matter to me, honestly. And I haven't heard anyone else complain about it, because that role didn't matter if it was a guy or a girl. Could have been a dwarf for all I care. Could have been a cat. It didn't matter, because that role was short. She dies, basically. The explorer on the planet.
Yeah.
But they left out the whole subplot about the ecology, but maybe they'll be brought up in part 2.
Yeah, because part 1 really is just showing the background of the Chosen One.
Yeah, it's basically the setup. The whole movie's a setup. But the setup will not pay off if we don't get a part 2. If we don't get a part 2,
has it been confirmed?
Warner Brothers told Denis?
Yeah, Denis Villeneuve.
That if the film does well on HBO Max, they will make a sequel. And they already assured him that they will make a sequel, but only if it does well on HBO Max. So,
well, people were relying on you.
We're relying on you to get part 2, otherwise it's going to make it feel kind of...
Because we don't have HBO Max, so we can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, it came out in theaters here. The theaters, by the way, we had to, sit on Sanitation blankets. That was really
and
interesting.
There were no posters of Dune around, which made me sad.
Yeah, so we couldn't find any. We only saw lots of posters for Venom, too. Okay.
Yeah, Venom was surprisingly decorated around the place.
Yeah. Anyway, we're kind of straying off topic from the movie. What else is there?
Anything that surprised you that was in the book and it appeared in the film? Like, were you happy to see anything?
I was really happy to see the Reverend Mother scene. It could have been longer, but I think it was paced just fine. Because you have to think about pacing. You can't just think about, oh, this whole scene's gonna be from the book into the movie. No, it's an adaptation. It's not a perfect one-on-one showing. There's nothing to do. Everything will always get hidden. And then
she did a great job. That actress, she was
Charlotte Rampling.
creepy.
That's her name, I think.
Oh,
yeah,
she did great.
Fucking, they have their own agenda, as you can tell. It's separate from the Emperor and his agenda.
But everybody seems to know of their existence.
Everyone knows their existence. Even the Freemen knew their existence. Yeah, they call him. Stilgar, the chief, calls her weirdling woman, I think, or whatever. And that's
I didn't catch it.
And it's like, why didn't you say so? Like, because they were gonna kill Jessica beforehand, and afterwards they're like, oh wow, she's a badass. Oh yeah, the final part of the movie. That's what I wanted to mention. It was definitely felt strange that they cut it right there. But I guess there was no choice, because they started with all the spaceships and a big ass politics empire, and it just ends off with Paul and his tiny gang of tribesmen just wandering into the desert.
I guess they wanted to show him and his life with the Freemen in the next movie.
Yeah. But it does show the Worm Rider at the end. That was cool. I was waiting for that.
That was in a book.
That was in the book, yeah.
Maybe in the next movie, if they make one, they'll show the rider like riding really high on a worm through the sand. I don't know. I'm Hollywoodizing it now.
I mean, that's what they're doing. You saw Keynes, the explorer who gets stabbed in the back. She was about to do that. She took out equipment. That's what she's gonna do. She's gonna ride the worm. Well, yeah. I was wondering what you thought. Like, what was she doing? Did you think she was gonna kill it or what?
I was wondering, and then she got stabbed, and I completely forgot about it.
That's why she was summoning the worm with the rhythmic thumper. That's a really cool device.
I thought she was gonna get away. Like, she summons the worm to distract for.
Oh, okay.
Paul,
well, that
and then
might.
She was going to get on the ship or something. But then I thought, why did she take those things out? And poof, stabbed.
I mean, I couldn't tell since I couldn't understand what she said to him in the tunnel. I know what she said to him in the tunnel, but I couldn't understand it in the movie because the fucking sound mixing was so bad. I don't know if it was the speakers for that theater or just what, but yeah, it was. I want to watch the movie again with English subtitles so I can understand every single person's word. God damn it.
I did like that he said good luck to her in that little tunnel. Like, she said good luck, and he said it back to her. I thought, you don't really see that a lot in movies where the hero says something, some well-wishing words.
They found, like, notes from stuff from the doctor left him behind, and his
Dr.
Duke's.
Yue?
Yeah, Dr. Yue left him that stuff. That's why he has the ring and all that. And then there was like a note there from the explorer.
Oh.
Yeah. Keynes, or whatever her name is in the movie. But I was like, how did you know what her handwriting is? He said it was her handwriting. It's like, how did you know? Or did I miss the part where he read her handwriting? Unless it was the books at the very beginning. But I don't know. But yeah.
She wrote that book?
She might have. I don't know.
That would make
she wrote the
a lot of sense if that were the case.
That would make more sense if it was. Yeah.
But then, when you write a book, don't you type in a computer? Or whatever technology
Did you notice
they
there's
have
no computers in Dune at all? No gun blasters? Because they all have shields. Shields negate the whole purpose. That's why they're using blades.
Oh, I thought the shield part was so cool.
Yeah, it's really different than David Lynch's shields. David Lynch's Dune's shields. Where it looks like giant Minecraft devices.
He did what he had to do with the tech that he had at the time.
Yeah. But in this case, because the shields prevent fast projectiles from shooting. That's why there's no guns. You see, everyone's killing each other with blades because blades can go through. Really neat.
Yeah, that part was so cool. And I love that they showed the audience instead of telling the audience, oh, the blue is, it's just a minor...
The blue is good, red's bad, blue's good, red's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
That was basically... They're just telling the audience
They were just showing us that scene, which is fine, Show, don't tell.
Man, we went through this whole discussion. I can't believe we talked about this for half an hour.
I know, it's not like...
I still have a lot to talk about. I could... They left out Gurney singing. That's depressing. Because Gurney can sing.
Which one's Gurney?
Josh Brolin's character. He can sing.
Oh boy.
In the book, but they never showed this. They only hinted at it where
why is his
Paul
singing
tells him
important?
that when they're fighting. It's not. It's just one of those cool little character details that he could have used.
Aww.
It's not important, but I felt like it's important for him. Now, maybe we'll see in part 2.
I thought his character was cool. He was super loyal to the father. What was the father's name? The Duke.
Duke Leto.
Oh, Leto.
I don't know his first name. I forgot.
Well, I thought Gurney was very loyal to him.
Yeah, they're all loyal to him.
Yeah.
All his guys.
Oh yeah. Another thing that I mentioned to you earlier was that I thought it was really neat that Leto, instead of when they were going down to look at the moving spice factory,
machine. Yeah.
They ended up saving the men instead of abandoning them.
Yeah, I think that's what.
Really good character.
Yeah.
Showing there.
Paul in the book specifically says something like, "No wonder all his men follow him."
Oh.
Yeah. Because he trusts his men, but unfortunately the movie kind of skims over this a bit. So you see that the Duke is no doubt a brave and badass person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's Oscar Isaac, and I love Oscar Isaac. He's great.
He's great.
Yeah.
I love that they didn't make his character so black and white. Like he had a lot of good sides to him, which surprised me as a non-book reader, because I went in expecting him to be like this tyrant of a father, telling his son what he should be. But no, he was very encouraging and understanding at the beginning. And then he truly loved Paul and Jessica.
I don't remember if that was in the book. I don't think it was.
The beginning?
Yeah, him talking to him on the tomb.
Oh.
I don't think so. Like, that was an inspired choice to add that, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so Rebecca Ferguson and Oscar Isaac did a great job in that role.
Yep.
Zendaya, her whole purpose in the whole film was just to look cool in these perfume slow motion commercials.
Oh, let's hope she
and she only had a couple of lines. She'll have a bigger role in part 2, don't worry.
Let's
a really
hope she'll
bigger
shine.
role.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I look forward to it.
Yeah. You can tell now. Right now she doesn't know Paul. She just calls him kid, child, right?
Mm.
She didn't respect him until
he won.
He killed
her friend?
Not her friend. Her fellow tribesman. So
a good fighter is what she called him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, she didn't seem to hate Paul, She told him that the fighter will put him out of his misery. It'll be quick. So there's that.
God, we've gone through so many discussions for this.
Yeah, this is very unlike us.
Overall,
a very solid film, very enjoyable. If you like science fiction, chosen one films, good music, good graphics or visuals, sorry.
Yeah, the visuals are
so good.
Astounding. Though the environment feels a little sterile, so that might not sit well with some people that might like their environments lived in a bit.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. Everything was just empty in that whole building.
That's a good word. Yeah. Bleak. Maybe?
Very bleak and sterile feeling.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have emphasized more how bad the sun is. I'm not sure the movie did that enough. Do you think so? Because as the non-book reader?
They did. I think it's because the heat here in Taiwan makes me kind of be like, oh yeah, I understand what you mean.
But was it emphasized enough, you feel? Like the water collection and all that? Was that important to you?
They didn't emphasize enough, but I knew it existed.
Okay.
Yeah. So, sometimes when he and Jessica were walking across the desert, I was half expecting one of their suits to malfunction, because I remember earlier they mentioned like their suits, they need to recycle their water.
It has to, yeah.
So in a way they did a good job. Out there. Yeah, they did a good job with that. So, I mean, if I got it.
That little mouse creature surprised me because I didn't remember that at all.
So
until I realized I knew what it was. I know what it's a reference to.
Alice in Wonderland?
No. It's a...
Something will show up in a book?
I guess it's okay to tell because his name, the tribesman must have said his name. The tribesman means mouse. Like, the mouse that you see is like collecting water from its ears. It's a mouse. So they're calling Paul a mouse, basically. They can dodge everything. Yeah. It's a bit on the nose, but it wasn't really... Obviously, it wasn't obvious to non-book readers. Yeah. Well, I guess that's all we can cover.
Yeah, so far.
Yep.
Well, if you've seen the movie, let us know what you thought of it in the comments. We'd love to read other people's opinions about it. And let us know if you're looking forward to the movie, to those who haven't seen the film.
A lot of spoilers, though, so I don't know if they read our whole discussion.
We'll put the timestamps.
Yeah.
So, thank you for watching this video.
Yep, in conclusion, we thought it was really good and
enjoyable.
Definitely need to rewatch it with actual English subtitles so I can understand more dialogue. And yeah, if you have any cons or thoughts you guys want to add on, then let us know in the comments below. So, we'll see you later. Take care, peace out, and have a great day.